Chapter 12. 3 weeks after we arrived in San Francisco, it was in September, I rowed Father, along with his shovel, pickaxe, gold-sifting pans, and other equipment, across the shallow, smelly waters of Yerba Buena Cove. Jacob was with us. We were taking Father to the Senator, a black-and-white side-wheeler steamship. She was anchored some 200 yards from San Francisco's landing beach, ready for the 10-hour trip to Sacramento and the gold diggings. We reached the boat and climbed aboard. Once there, Father chucked a brooding Jacob under his chin to get him to look up. "Keep watching for Mother," he said. "You know how unpredictable ships are coming from back east. But you understand I can't wait for her." He kept saying this as if he needed to justify his leaving us alone. "I need to get to the diggings before the gold gives out." "Mother may well arrive tomorrow," Father continued. "When she gets here, stay with our tent so I can find you. Keep checking the post office. I have to assume she'll write to say on which ship she'll come. Now, I have asked Señor Rosales to keep a watch on you. Pay heed to him." It wasn't as if Father had become friends with the Señor, but the young men who were in tents to either side of us changed frequently, moving in then moving out, quickly replaced by new miners. But aside from the fact that Señor Rosales was the only one who stayed, I found him to be wise, kind, and generous. "I'll return no later than December 1st," continued Father. "By that time I'll be rich, and I promise you I'll build a bigger and better home than our Providence house." All I said to Father was, "Yes, sir." I lacked the courage to tell what I had learned. Only a few miners made fortunes. Truth be known, I had more gold in my pocket from working in the city than most. What's more, I was weary of Father's empty assurances and lecturing. Father, who continued to smile through his new beard, which made him look like a short pudgy bear, turned again to Jacob and said, "Try not to worry." To me he added, "Try and act a little ladylike. Think of what Aunt Lavinia would say." I no longer did. Father gripped our shoulders and gave us a final squeeze. "I'm planning," he said, "on all of us having a plum of a Christmas right here in San Francisco." "Yes, sir," I said. "Continue to take whatever suitable jobs you can," he said to me, "and be careful with the money I've left you for as long as possible. You should have enough until I get back. Victoria, make sure to keep the money in that belt I got you. Is that clear?" He leaned forward and in a half-whisper added, "I've put a knife in the belt, in case." A knife. The notion frightened me. But then I reasoned that it was what so many San Francisco men had. It was part of the outfit. It might as well be part of mine. "And here," Father said to Jacob, "is a good-luck pelican feather for you." I knew my brother well enough to guess his thoughts. A knife for Torrey, a feather for me. He had become a sullen boy. Next moment the ship blew a whistle blast that snatched me from my thoughts. "Time for you to get off," said Father, and he shook hands with Jacob and gave me a hug, his new beard scratchy, which I did not like. As we climbed down the ship's rope ladder, Father leaned over the rail and watched as we got into our borrowed rowboat. It was part of the freedom of San Francisco that rowboats and other small boats were left at the Cove beach, and people could borrow them so long as they brought them back. I took up the oars. Jacob got into the stern seat. Father, standing among the crowd of gold miners who had paid $15 for deck passage, waved goodbye. There were so many men on the ship that it listed to starboard. Jacob refused to look back, but only gripped the gunwale of our rowboat, muttering crossly to himself. I began to row us back to the Cove beach. There it was. Jacob and I were in San Francisco, alone. How did I feel? Exhilarated. To my knowledge, there was no book that I had read about a girl alone in a wild and wicked city. I was a heroine like no other. Then I considered Jacob, sitting in the stern, looking small and abandoned. He was an impediment. He had become, I realized, a new anchor.